When is the best time to increase your prices for your Pilates studio? How do you structure your prices? And how important is it that you look after the people who helped you set up your studio in the first place? If you are watching this podcast early on in 2026, congratulations. You are the very first few people who have the privilege to learn more about your pricing strategies from this video. If you don't know me, my name is Anita Horry. I'm second generation Pilates teacher, master teacher trainer, and also a Pilates business coach for all those people who want to make this world a better place by having structured Pilates businesses to help their communities and to build their businesses ethically. In this world where Pilates studios are popping at every single corner, we are being very careful on how to set up our new Pilates studios. If you don't have a very clear business plan, very clear business idea for your studio, you are heading for failure. This has been happening over the past decade or two, even in the US. Past decade more in Europe, where Pilates studios are starting to completely boom and take over the fitness industry. However, if you have taken a comprehensive training, you know that Pilates isn't just about fitness. Pilates is very much about transformations, and this is what we achieve to do for our clients. And in today's video, I want to really help you transform your pricing strategy. Now, raising prices can be very tricky, especially when you have loyal clients who have been with you for a very long time, and they're going to cause some friction when you come to tell them that you're going to start increasing prices. So in this video, I want to share with you some strategies that make this transition smoother for both you and for your clients. We're also going to discuss the concept of legacy pricing and how to approach it appropriately. Now, let's first look at the importance of increasing your prices in your Pilates business. Now, why do prices need to go up? As a studio owner, it is essential that you align your pricing according to industry standards and according to your area. Now, that might mean that there are increasing costs happening for your business, whether it's your rent, whether it's any particular operating cost, new equipment, maintaining the equipment, or even employee costs. If these are going to be added costs to your business, your new prices have to reflect that increase in costs to maintain profitability for your studio. If you are afraid of increasing prices for your clients, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And how on earth are you going to sustain all these increasing costs if you're not going to be able to pass that on to the end consumer? Now, I understand that many of us have got this misconception about client perception. Many Pilates teachers and studio owners have this fear of increasing their prices because they're really worried about losing clients. And yes, if we are not transmitting the message well to our clients, and if our clients are already unhappy about some of the services that we offer, then that's going to be the final straw, right? Clients are going to walk away because you've increased the prices. However, there are ways of us transmitting the message to our client without upsetting them and actually making them feel valuable. Now, this is definitely more important when we are setting up a studio, when we're new in our infancy of setting up the pricing for our studio. Yes, price increases are going to be hard for your clients to swallow, but if you do this strategically, especially for the clients who have joined you initially, you are going to make them more significant. You're going to help empower your clients to feel really very much part of the community. How do you do that? You do that with a term called legacy pricing. What does that mean? Legacy pricing is essentially a discounted rate for your long-term clients as a way to show appreciation for their loyalty. It's a way to ease them into the new pricing structure while recognizing the value that they've brought to your business. So someone joins you early on in your business, you promise to keep their pricing very similar to the original price that they've started with. And if there are going to be any price increases, they're not going to be affected as much as the newer entrants in your studio. So what you're basically saying to your client is, I'm not going to punish you for being loyal. What I'm going to do is reward you for being committed to coming to my studio. And what does that do? That's going to build your community. Now, let me give you a brief example from my studio. When I first opened up my studio many moons ago, I gave my clients an original price. And then within 6 months, I actually had to move to another studio. Once I opened up the new studio, I kept exactly the same prices for my old clients, and I increased the prices by another 15% for my new clients who have started in my second studio. Fast forward 2 years and I needed to move yet to another location. And once I went into my new location, the older clients that were in Studio 1 and Studio 2 had a small price increase of about 2 to 5%, whereas new students, new clients, came in at another price increase of 15%. So everybody was happy. I actually value the fact that these people moved with me and they stayed with me and committed to working with me as I moved premises. Now, here's the legacy part. I didn't jump my original clients to the new rates. The original clients stayed with the old rates for a period. Then when I moved studio again, and their increase was very minimal. It was something that was more in relation to the costs that I was incurring, just to make sure that I'm breaking even, or at least I am still profiting from them, but not as much as the ones that were coming in. Why? Because this was my community. This is the way that I started building my work and my community and my business. So building my client base, having these older clients refer more and more clients, was essentially marketing for me without having to spend any more in marketing fees. So essentially that is your legacy pricing. Founding clients keep a preferred rate, smaller increases over time, and new members join at today's value. Now, how do you craft your communications with your clients? This is something that, again, in my coaching calls, I get to see more and more. The way that we communicate with our clients, there's this element of fear of us really even approaching the subject with our clients that makes us freeze whenever we have to be challenged about price increases. So here's how we do this. When you are communicating these changes to your clients, it is important to really strike the right tone. You want to make it clear that the discount is given to them as a sign of appreciation, a loyalty discount, this legacy discount, this legacy price that we're giving them. We are so grateful for you to be part of our community and to be part of our original founding members of this Pilates studio. How amazing is that? That's making them feel so valued and so important. And what does that do to them? That's going to help them stay with you, stay involved with your business, and also get more people to come to you because they know that you really look after your people. Now, I'm actually recording this video at the very start of a new year. This is the time where many Pilates studios increase their prices. This is a very apt time for us to communicate with our clients and make sure that they get to find out about our commitment and our loyalty to them. So in this video, I'm actually going to be sharing with you a simple script that I've written for you to be able to share with your clients to communicate your new price increases, but with lots of love and with good intention. So here it goes. Dear client, I wanted to take a moment to personally thank you for your ongoing support and commitment to your Pilates practice with me. As you may know, I'll be transitioning to my new studio space this spring. With this change comes a small adjustment in the pricing to align with the new costs. However, because you've been such a loyal client, I'm offering you a legacy client discount. Your rates will only increase by X%, which is a way of saying thank you for being with me on this journey. I truly value your dedication and look forward to continuing to work with you in our new space. Now, it's really important that you actually highlight the value of the discount your client is going to be getting. Although there's going to be a price increase, their price increase is going to be a discounted rate, and make sure that they get to know what discounted rate they're getting. So if your new prices are going to be 15% over and above your old prices, but your old clients are going to get a 5% price increase, then you're going to show them that they're going to get a 10% discount from your new prices. So that's also giving them that value, that appreciation that they're still with you and that you are really valuing their existence and their presence and their commitment to working with you. Remember, from a business standpoint, 10% can be a very significant amount when you're trying to work out your profitability. Now, if you wanted to have some alternative terminology just to really highlight the fact that they're going to get a discount, you could say something like this. I know that price increases are never easy, but I want to assure you that this legacy client discount is a gesture of my gratitude. While 10% might not sound like much, it's a meaningful way to help balance the new costs while continuing to provide you with the best possible experience. Another strategy that has worked very well for my studio is where we incrementally, gradually increase the prices for all the members of our studio, meaning that new clients will enter the studio at a higher rate than your old clients, but then later on, within a period of time, your older clients' prices will increase to the new prices and reflecting the same price that your newer clients are paying. Let's put this into perspective. You're going to let your current clients know that the new clients will be paying the higher rates starting on a specific date. However, you'll keep their rates the same for the next 6 months as a thank you for their loyalty. Again, this has worked for me in one of my studios where my old clients were not paying the higher price for 6 months. And then after 6 months, their price went up to reflect the new increase in prices. This gave them that little extra benefit of 6 months. They didn't have to actually subsidize the new price increases. And that gave them that little holiday from it. Now, how do you communicate this to your clients? My best approach would be to actually communicate this new price increase individually to your older clients. So rather than sending a mass email to your old clients to say, hey, now we're going to have this new price increase after 6 months, what I would suggest is you actually communicate with your clients one by one and work with them and talk with them. And if you see some kind of resistance, you negotiate that to maybe extend the old price by another 3 months. Again, giving them the extra loyalty. Now, that is to make it really, really clear to say to them, I am being super loyal to you by extending this for another 3 months. But please be aware that there will be no further extensions of this discount. After X date, you are going to be increasing the price in alignment with our current pricing strategy. And it's very transparent and you will let them know and they'll keep that communication clear. So I've seen this in many scenarios and when I was running my business and also with people that I'm coaching, that the studio communicates it with the client and they'll send them an email. And when the time comes that there's a price increase, the client is startled because you've never told me and they've not communicated well with me. And I'm really shocked that you're increasing the prices. So when you are communicating this with your clients, make sure that not only do you send them an email, but you also have a notice in your studio to make it clear that there are going to be price increases from X date. Now, if you still have resistance from your clients, you give them the benefit of the doubt if they're communicating with you, saying that they maybe did not receive that communication, they didn't receive the email, they didn't receive the message, whatever it might be. You say, fair enough. If you didn't receive it the first time, there's an extension of 3 months for you. We really appreciate your working with us, your commitment to us, but please be aware we need to increase the prices. We have to align your price with our current pricing strategy, and you've got an extra 3 months of leeway for this. Thank you very much for your custom. Please be aware your new price is going to be X amount as of this date. Now, that is clear verbally, and then you follow it in writing. So there's no miscommunication, there's no dark holes, right? And very important that you keep transparency in where and how you communicate with your clients. Now, you have to really emphasize commitment here. What I'm trying to say is that you have to be clear with them that this is a very temporary arrangement you're going to be extending their period for, because you need to also protect your business. You can't keep going back to your clients and saying, yes, okay, I'll extend it another 3 months or extend another 3 months. No, be very firm and committed to extending it for 1 3-month period, and that's it, or however many months you want to extend it for. But very clear, make it very fair, and say to them, I need to continue running my business. Now, if these clients, and this is very unlikely, and again, I'm going to say this from 20 years of experience in this industry, if clients have stayed and committed to stay with you for a period of time, you've given them that loyalty discount, the legacy price, and then you've given them that notice that, hey, within 6 months, I'm going to be increasing your prices. Then they play maybe dumb or innocent, or they say that they haven't received the email or the correspondence, whatever, to mention that you've got a price increase, and you've given them an extra 3 months of assistance in their prices, a discounted rate, then it's very clear that these are people who are wanting to commit to stay with you. If these are people who are going to be arguing your prices, then they're not the ones that are going to commit to you. And if they've already helped and stayed with you and committed, and they've shown loyalty, then it's very unlikely that they're going to be arguing about price increases, because they already see your value. Now let's focus more about membership holds and cancellations. So you might have some clients that have held their membership. They've decided to stop their membership for whatever reason or another. Or maybe they wanted to cancel their membership program. How do we approach this? It is super important to set boundaries when you're creating your legacy pricing. Make it clear that if a client cancels or freezes their membership, the legacy pricing will no longer be available when they return. This ensures consistency and fairness in your pricing structure. Another thing you could consider instead of freezing a membership or even canceling a membership is giving them a percentage-based discount. Now, obviously, you'd have to consider that this percentage discount that you're going to give is still going to mean that you're still going to be profiting from their fees. There's no point of you giving discounts and then you'll end up working at breaking even or even not working at a loss. So how can we do this? Instead of a fixed discount, consider giving a percentage of your highest priced membership. This gives you the flexibility to adjust prices if needed, whether due to new services or relocation or economic changes. I have learned from the 2 decades I've been in this industry, and from working with other studio owners, and from working with other people in the industry who have been in the industry for longer than me, from my own mentors, that being lenient with your pricing can lead to financial issues down the road. Far too many times have I worked with clients who have not had the right pricing strategy. They are working at a loss because they are so worried about losing their clients. They are worried about upsetting clients and then continuously giving discounts, continuously being lenient in the way that they're working with their clients, and maybe not even increasing their prices because they feel that this isn't going to be the right thing to do to this particular client, and this client is too sensitive, etc., etc. Well, if you continue working like that, then you are on the road to nowhere. Literally, it's one of the main reasons why many Pilates studios end up shutting down. It's no profitability. Make sure your pricing structure is sustainable long term. I've also seen studios close down because they were absolutely too lenient with their legacy pricing structure. So be aware that if you are going to give a discount to a particular client, it's not going to be half of your studio. If you're wanting to really commit yourself to the original members of your studio, then yes, stick with that, but not if your original members make up 80% of your studio, right? You need to make sure that your pricing strategy is still reflecting profitability and business growth. Now remember, your clients really value the work that you provide. They wouldn't be with you if they didn't. Most of your clients are going to understand that there needs to be a price increase. Now, whether your clients are going to appreciate the amount of price increase that you give them is another thing. That is a matter of negotiation and it's a matter of discussion with each individual client if it comes to it. But you must stand your ground. You must hold your premise to say, I am increasing my prices because this is reflecting my business costs. And at the end of the day, you got to put food on your table and you got to make sure that you survive and have a profitable business. This is totally possible if you keep your communication clear, transparent, and give the communication to your clients in many different forms. Managed to say earlier that you could email, you could WhatsApp, you could send it in a newsletter, you could put the poster up in your studio and make it very clear that it's going to be effective from X date. Once you have everything clear, nobody can complain that they were not notified and then argue their case even more. Clear communication and a thoughtful approach will ensure that there's going to be a smooth process. So just to recap, whether you decide to implement a legacy pricing strategy or whether you want to go for that tiered strategy where you're going to be incrementally increase the prices for your studio, then you need to make sure that you communicate it properly. Communicate it respectfully with your clients. There's no arrogance involved. Value their loyalty, but make sure that ultimately your business remains profitable. So that's it, folks. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you have any questions about how to still run your business, how to set up your pricing strategy, how to really make sure that you're covering all your costs when you're setting up your prices for your students, for your clients, then reach out to me. I offer a free discovery call. I'm happy to discuss your personal situation with you. And if you did like the video, hit the like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video online. Until my next video, and wishing you a very amazing 2026 ahead. Goodbye for now.